G'day subscribers and welcome to Jive Talk and Garage. Today we're going to Jive talk about tickling, we're going to talk about Ebony and Ivory, we're going to talk about tools, we're going to Jive talk about special tools, and if we've got enough time we'll Jive talk about some brackets that you need for your stabilizer, also your radiator caps, some other washers that you need, and also dipper switches. But in the meantime, stick around, you're with Jules Knight. Okay, so the first thing that I want to talk about is Bosch Regulator. Okay, so this is the 6-volt regulator 4x FJ. Could be one of my spares, but that's what they are. It's FJ, and then they go to 12 volts and they keep Bosch for however long until they go to Lucas and whoever else. But anyway, with mine, let's talk about mine. Now, when I bought my FJ in 2015, I had it down at, I went and picked it from Sydney. It was a Melbourne car, sold to a bloke in Sydney, and I bought it from the bloke in Sydney. So as soon as I got it, the apprentice and I went down with our truck and the car trailer on the back, and we brought it back to Brisbane overnight. And next day it went to Fight Club for a week, and they worked on it. That poor little thing, it was showing more love in 2 hours than it had had in probably 30 years. But anyway, now look, one of the things that they did was every time they touched the electrical circuits, connecting the generator, uninstalling the generator, putting the wires back on, checking the regulator box, all those sorts of things, they get a wire from one terminal to another terminal. And I'm like, what are you doing that for? Now, I am not I'm not an engineer. My background is procurement for power stations, transmission lines, transmission equipment, and also an energy trader for the governments and negotiator. However, I have to be able to understand mechanical, electrical, civil, hydro, and chemical engineering, as well as, for my own purposes, spray painting. But anyway, the tickler business had me beat. Who tickles their FJ, right? Anyway, so I was down at Fight Club last week helping my friend work on his dad's FJ 215. And I said, oh, look, by the way, what's the deal with the tickler? And I got to say, I still find it humorous, right? And I got the reply, you got to do it each time. I'm going, well, what? He said, check it in the book. Well, for your viewing pleasure, I just did. Now, shop manual, page 256, talks about generator or polarizing generator. And this is what it says. After any test or adjustment of the regulator or replacement of the regulator or generator, polarize the generator when all leads are connected but before the engine is started. To correctly polarize generator, momentarily connect a jumper lead, so that can just be 2 alligator clips on a wire, so you're just touching one contact with another. To correctly polarize generator, momentarily connect a jumper lead between the B terminal, B, so it's B for Bravo, and D terminal, D for Delta, on the regulator. Failure to polarize the generator may result in damage to the equipment, since reversed polarity causes arcing and burning of the relay contact points. Arcing and burning of the relay contact points. So if you're having troubles, that's what it could be, because you want power to flow in the right direction. So you are polarizing the generator. So that's clearly on 256. So it's all to do with tickling the regulator box. You can't say that I'm not bringing you new and informative things that have been around since 1948, in my case 1956, on Jive Talking Garage. But anyway, put that aside. Let's talk about the tool bag, shall we? Now, I, as a young owner, young kid, I remember Basil and Berners always looking after me, because I lost my mum when I was little, so they were as good as parents to me, I suppose. Well, no, not suppose they were. They were fantastic. And Basil said to me, 7/16 spanner, 1/2 inch spanner, 9/16, 5/8. Stick them in your FJ somewhere and they can get you out of trouble. That's pretty much what you need. There's a few others that you'll require for a tear down, but that gets you out of trouble. Now, as part of the standard tools that you get set pliers, and they'll give you ones that can move the jaws, but I just keep those because I like the old style. And the other thing you get is this to take off wheel nuts or spark plugs. And they have a hubcap remover. Okay, so you can see that. So it gets in underneath the hubcap and you turn it, not that way, it's not a hammer. You turn it to make it pop off. Now this goes through like that, and then you can use it to turn it. Now the same if you have to, let's see, spark plugs, there you go, and that will, you put that on there and put that on there and take your spark plugs out if you need to with your genuine tools. Now, like I like to get other bits and pieces as well. That is a genuine Dunlop paddle. Now I keep that for the just in case. But the other thing that you will get in your toolkit is a orange flat blade screwdriver. Now it's actually a Turner screwdriver. So if you come along to the Classics at Twilight that Jive Talking Garage is putting on the 10th of next month, so that's the week after April, we'll be able to tell you which is which and what they're for and all that sort of thing. I've got obviously some mates coming, and I'm sure that they have exactly that in their car. But anyway, now let's put that aside. Now let's talk first Radiated Caps. Now 48215 and FJ have 4 pound, and when they went to FE they went to 7 pound. So now we are running refreshed motors, a little bit more horsepower if they've been bored out or refreshed or whatever. And you can decide whether you want to go the original 4 pounds or 7 pounds or a little bit higher. I run 7 pounds. I used to have like a 4 pound in the glove box, but I run 7 pounds, but that's just me. Now, the other thing that I would like to say to people is if and when you pull your engine out, it's always a good idea to decide whether you want to replace your dipper switch. So this is the high beam switch. You can buy them brand new. There you go, brand new. So you can decide, like mine's still in the car. I bought this one just in case, because I like to have spares of everything because I'm just OCD. But I've also got the brand new one. Now they're a little bit different as far as the bottoms are concerned. Those contact points are standing up, whereas these ones are standing down, laying down, standing up, laying down. But they are what they are, so I'll decide whether I refresh it, because it's a bit of a bugger of a job when you've got a motor in there. So that is the what do we got there? The dipper switches. Okay, so now just as an observation, now with the special interior, like that's the one that came on my FJ. I don't know why they put it there, but it just was there. And they also had these window winders, so I'll get rid of those, but I don't need them. They should have white. Now, for some reason, I've noticed that the black always fares better than the white. Black fares better than the white. I don't know why. And it's a bit odd. It's one of those secrets in life that you'll never truly understand. But with the Ivory stuff, like that was the handbrake out of my Ute, my original one. Whereas I've got another one, and that's another original one. I just bought that off a trading website because I just liked all that. I thought that'd be great. So I bought that because I had already had a new old stock gear knob, and I went and bought these other bits and pieces from Rosemary at one of the at her stall, and like the headlight switch, the glove box switch, the glove box knob, and the headlight knob that you break off the old one and basically araldite and super glue that one in there. That was $80 for the three, so it gives you a bit of an idea of what they're worth. So that's fine. But when you're doing a restoration, I had the professor, or the admiral as we like to call him. He was asking me about this little sucker. Now, this is for your panel van or Ute for an FJ, or Ute for a 48 for an FX. Now, this goes on before the fuel tank goes in. So what I did is I got this fitted in place, and then I used pink soap all in here, because when you actually have it in place, I think the book says that you have to put the filler neck, the gooseneck, up and into it. So this needs to be very lubricated for you to actually get the gooseneck to go through it. But that's what you can do for the filler neck. Now, if you've got a fill guard that goes over the top of that, you can decide whether you need the new rubber or whether you don't. It's up to you. However, I don't know how many times you pull a fuel tank out. So it's a little bit like the dipper switch. When you get a good chance to do things, it's probably a good idea to service it then. But in talking about servicing, now on page 9 of the shop manual, it tells you which things to lubricate as far as the service is concerned. Now, I'll give you 2 handy hints. It talks about this solid lubrication for the striker plates. So this is for when you close the door, and some of the mechanisms in there. It's like a white solid grease, but it's so it's good for all that. Now, the other thing that you can do is, a friend of mine, when he services cars, when he gives them back, one of the last things he does, besides check the air in the spare tyre, is he gets silicone spray, and he puts a long nozzle on it, and he sprays inside the Bailey channel, just to make the glass slide up and down nice and easy. So there's less resistance on the crank, less resistance on the regulator as the motor comes up and down. Yeah, well, it is a motor because you're cranking it. And also less resistance for the window sliding up and down in the channel. So bit of solid oil, and also a bit of silicone spray will see you in good stead. Okay, so we've done that. Now, when I visited one of the old club presidents a couple of weeks ago, this is one of the bits and pieces that I bought from him. And they were just re-anodized. Just re-anodized, and you're thinking, oh, where the hell are they for? Well, for the links, for the front suspension, for the sway bar, because the sway bar will go one end, and this will go attached to the clamp the other. Well, I've now got a new set of washers for it. Now, you might say, well, look, what did you go and buy them for? You've already got a set, blah, 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 blah. But the thing is, I bought these when I bought a whole lot of other stuff. And so by the time I would go to the chrome platers who do bright zinc, cadmium plate, whatever, I think like the minimum fee's $85. Petrol to get there, petrol to come home, my time, all that sort of stuff. Plus whatever the minimum fee is, well, I've already got it here. I don't have to do it, don't have to take them anywhere. It's already been done for me. Like, it just makes the job a little bit easier. So sometimes when you're thinking about it, you just think, okay, just let me make the job just that little bit easier. Now, talking about the sway bars, at the same place, the fellow actually had the brackets that I need. Now, this is the last piece in my puzzle. It's a case of that will bolt, so I'll drill to the bottom of the apron panels. That'll bolt either side, so I've got one each side, and then the D-shackle, the D-clamp, will go here, and then the rod will go through. But I didn't have them before, so I'm just going to give them to Lachlan. He'll take them to the dealership and zap them for me. Hit them with the Zeus torch there, and those bolts will be no more. Now, just one more thing that I wanted to show you. Now I saw the other day someone asking about the window winders. Now, the question was, how on earth do you get them off? Well, it's pretty easy. Now, I just had a little bizzo here, but anyway, what I've got is a bronze rod. Now, page 20 of the shop manual tells you to basically make a 5-inch piece, cut it there, bend it into a P, and then have this here such that you can actually put this in this shaft here, and you can push it, and these little jaws, there's a little pair of jaws there, and they will just go inside. They'll go inside and allow you then to slip it on, and then when you're finished, you pull it out, the jaws come back out and it stays there. But that's just how you make a little special tool. You can leave the bronze rod in one place if you like, but as far as a special tool is concerned, it's about 5 inches that way, and then your P starts so that you can actually just use the shaft and slip it behind there, push it in, and it all fits for you. You have no problems. It makes it nice and easy. Now, with the last episode, I was telling people in the NASCO newsletter of December 1954, they talked about having a underbonnet light for your engine bay. Well, I've actually gone and bought one. So as soon as I found out, yes, you could have one, I thought, you beauty, I've gone and bought it. I'm waiting for it to be delivered. And as soon as I've got it, well, I'll be able to share it with all the members. Subscribe and have a look to see what we're doing with the rest of our episodes on YouTube and also at NASCO Bay Jive Talking Garage. But in the meantime, enjoy your Holden.